Thank you. You have anything to add to the staff presentation?
Well, you mentioned in your, that I was applying for a 10-year special use, and I wish that was the case. It's a 2-year special use, correct? I guess, so my question is, I've got a 6,500 square foot office building. I have 6 employees, I have 44 parking spots. The business that was in there prior to me buying the building from Carbank had 2 or 3 times that many employees, but they had no special use permit. So I'm in a situation here where I've spent a bunch of money on this building. I'm looking at spending a whole bunch of money on a renovation, but I've got the 2-year renewal of the special lease every year hanging over my head. So I'm just wondering if there's anything that can be done to extend that special use period. And I would also like to have a clear understanding of what type of activities at the building could possibly result in pulling the special use permit 2 years from now before I end up with all this money in this building that I potentially couldn't use.
Okay, I think the 2 years is what's specified by Uniform Development Ordinance. And maybe I can get some help from staff on how that's enforced and applied.
We monitor those, so any temporary special use permit, regardless of the time frame, we monitor those. When those time frames are about to expire, we alert the applicant so that they can reapply. I can't sit here and guarantee that an application would not be renewed, but typically the issues with the temporary commercial uses are related to parking. So if there aren't any issues, if the property's sufficiently parked and being managed, we wouldn't anticipate there would be a reason that we would not be supporting a renewal. But again, I can't prejudge that.
Okay, so to clarify then, I've got 6 employees that'll be there on a daily, including myself, that'll be there on a daily basis. We have 44 parking spots. Because we have a additional, the office is bigger than we need, we put in a classroom that holds up to 24, so that makes 30. But if I was to have people park on the street one day, would that suddenly be in jeopardy of losing my special use permit? I mean, I wonder, you know what I mean? What's the, I guess, I don't want to say threat, but what's the, potential problems that I might run into? I would seem to be well underneath any kind of parking concern, even if on the, when we do have a training, but I just want to be clear what my liabilities are.
Ms. Carr?
I think in general, we anticipate that any business might, on occasion, have an event or activity that generates more parking need than their day-to-day. So I think it's really more the day-to-day management of the business that is what is significant in terms of renewal.
And it looks like with 49 spaces being provided, it's not likely.
Okay, and I guess my final thing, the paperwork that I was given to file for the special use permit back in October ended up being in error. And so we sent out the special use stuff and then found out that we didn't send out the right stuff. So I had to get a continuance until November and send it out again. I had to pay my attorney twice to send out all the stuff and do the paperwork, and I have a month's worth of, the payment on the building that it sits idle. Is there any recourse for that?
Ms. Carr?
Mr. Chairman, we reimbursed the applicant for the second mailing. We acknowledge we made a mistake in checking his letter that he sent out to notify owners. We've also not delayed review of his construction permit for the special use permit to go forward. So we are reviewing his construction documents just like we would have had he originally been through. He may have a time frame where he's waiting a bit for this to finally be approved. But we had to follow those time limitations. We provided an option where he could have sought waivers from adjacent property owners, and that didn't seem like that was going to be feasible, so we had to have him re-notify and come back before you today. We have to allow the time for a protest petition, so he'll be at council December 2nd.
Okay, sounds like we're pretty much subject to what the ordinance requires, although they've tried to condense the time period as much as
Okay,
as is allowed.
all right, that's all I have.
Excuse me. All right, any questions for Mr. Rayford? I don't see any now. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I've got to sign this affidavit about the sign. Who do I give that to?
You can,
I'll give it to you, because it needs to be notarized. So I need to wait till the end of the meeting, or can we do that?
We have a notary upstairs on the second floor. He's able to take it up there for signature.
Or do I need to wait till the end of the meeting?
no, you don't need to wait till the end of the meeting. We'll be finished with this item in about, hopefully, 1 minute.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.